Welcome back to Moments That Matter to NBL25. We are back by popular demand. Jack Heverin and Derek Rucker breaking down what has been an incredible round one, all part of HoopsFest here in Western Australia, Ruck. And even as we talk right now, we've got a DJ going on. This doesn't normally happen.
No, it's absolutely popping in here. We got Hayden James doing his thing, but what a great weekend this has been. I don't think the NBL, Western Australia, anyone involved in organizing this event could have anticipated it going off this well. And then we got the great final game between the Kings and the Sixers to wrap it up.
Why don't we start there? Fantastic game, as you said, between Sydney and Adelaide. And let's start with Adelaide. There was so much discussion in the off-season about what had gone on, the coaching upheaval, a late injury to Jarrell Martin. But after a pretty shaky start where they were 19-3 down, they settled and they pushed Sydney all the way.
They certainly did, and full credit to everyone in the Sixers camp for putting up a really, really good game. And you know what? They're not going to go away. They have enough there on that roster to be a real threat. And I said during the broadcast, when you go to Adelaide and you have to play them on their court, you better not slip up, because they will pop you, as they almost did to the Sydney Kings today. And Montrezl Harrell in his first NBL game was outstanding. He provided showmanship, his performance was outstanding, and he was just exciting to watch get to work out there on that floor.
The reason that we started with Adelaide is because they were the biggest story of the off-season.
Correct.
Have you seen enough under Mike Wells after one game to make you think they're going to be fine?
And he hasn't had a full preparation with that roster. He's only semi-installed the things that he would like to see from his lineup. So over the course of the season, and depending on how things pan out with those two import bigs, they're going to be a significant improver throughout the course of the season. And I like the way he handled himself also as a coach in this game.
Does it make you change your preseason prediction on Adelaide? I know it's only one game, but does it make you think that they're going to be a bit better than perhaps what you thought?
Well, I always had them as a surprise packet, a team that I thought could make some noise, and today's performance only added to that belief.
Sydney Kings, unquestionably on paper, the best team here in the NBL this season. Championships aren't won on paper, but even from this first game, we saw that Brian Goorjian has got an embarrassment of riches to play with.
And the thing that I liked is that his main guys did a great job today. They were very productive, and I think Sydney Kings fans would be elated with the performance of Jalen Adams. He came out there right from the jump, asserting himself as the man on that team, and I think that's what everybody around the league loves to see from Jalen Adams. He's an immense talent. He went a little bit quiet in the middle of the game, but then he brought it home strong at the end. Cam Oliver, who I thought should have started, but Brian Goorjian knows his team better than I, brought him off the bench, and he was great, Jack. And of course, Xavier Cooks. Those three guys right there are a serious weapon to deal with.
Are they the best three in the NBL?
I would think so. You look around, and I'm just not sure any other team has three guys like that can be so dominant, not only within a game, but I think those guys can mount those kind of performances over round after round.
Why don't we go back to Friday night here at RAC Arena, the Perth Wildcats playing host to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And I'm not sure if everyone's caught up, but you did a list in the preseason of your top 15 players. You had Bryce Cotton at number 2.
Yeah.
He came out with a bang on Friday.
He did. He hit 8 threes, and he did a lot of them early, too. I think he had a 4-point play in there, but you could see Bryce was emotionally charged up. He came out and put on the type of performance that we've known he can provide. But the thing about Bryce is he has that feel for what matters, and when his performances matter most, he did it, and it was a great night. We watched it from up top there of the Coca-Cola boombox, and it was really an enjoyable evening.
From a holistic point of view, though, from the Perth Wildcats, did you like what you saw first up?
Oh, definitely. They looked strong. Keanu Pender had 24 points. He knocked down some three-pointers as well. The Perth Wildcats, as long as they maintain good health, they'll be a top 3 team based on what I saw and if they can carry it on.
Keep an eye on Dylan Windler too, I think. Didn't have a lot of points, but was all over the glass. He's only going to get better with the more games he plays.
Well, he's in a good position because the team doesn't necessarily need him to be a star right now. He can work on his game, find his role within the team, learn about the league, and then be impactful when they need it most in March and April.
They're the big positive out of that game. The negative, I think, is the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and I think they might have been the biggest negative potentially of round one. We'll get to another shortly, but it didn't click at all.
Well, they just continue to bleed easy points to opposing teams. This has been a problem with Southeast Melbourne almost since their inception. They brought in Mike Kelly, a defensive-minded guy, thinking that would reverse those poor tendencies on the defensive end, but it just hasn't happened.
No.
And maybe it was just a bad opening round, and they actually do have some structure and some schemes in place, but that's a bit of a red flag, that performance Friday night.
Illawarra, we saw them on Saturday night. The first thing that we spoke about with the Hawks is how big they are. The size from Trey Kell at the 1 all the way through to Sam Froling at the 5. I would imagine that Justin Tatum would have taken a heap of positives away from that game.
I like how they play. I think their style of play can hold up, especially when they travel on the road. And as you said, not only are they tall, but they're strong. And then they also have quickness and athleticism. They cover a lot of the physical profile attributes that you want in a successful team. And of course, Justin Tatum does a really good job in getting those guys to play together and to play with belief and play in an unselfish manner as well.
It's a hard one for the Cairns Taipans right now. No Taron Armstrong, no Jackson McCoy. Armstrong out with injury, McCoy suspended. Tad Duffelmeyer came in as a replacement player, did his best, but were they just rudderless without a true point guard?
Yeah, it was always going to be hard this first round or so. But again, if you know this league, don't sleep on the Taipans if you go up to far north Queensland to play them. They will resemble nothing like the team that we saw Saturday evening at HBF Stadium. They'll be much better. They'll get some bodies back. 40 will have learned what his team is about. He'll make adjustments, and they'll be much better.
Justin Schuller was pretty animated during the game against New Zealand. Was even more animated post-game, said that they were pathetic, which you don't often hear from a coach in this league, but he was clearly unhappy with what he saw.
He has high expectations, and the expectation and the standards are something that the Brisbane Bullets have really emphasized this offseason. And to come out there and get down by a team that they felt that they should have beaten handily and have no control whatsoever over Parker Jackson Cartwright. And now look, in reality, that's going to be a problem for a lot of teams, but the Bullets felt that they were well equipped to be able to handle this game. They did come back, Jack, in the second half and make a game of it, but there are some current concerns there over possibly James Bateman. I'm just not sure he's really grasped what it takes to be successful in this league. Tough matchup straight up, but now they go to Wollongong, and they've got to be better right across the board, but I think it starts at the point guard position. Bateman's got to bring more to the table.
And let's finish with the New Zealand Breakers. First look at Petteri Koponen as coach of this team as well, and another team that have had some off-season upheaval. Did you like what you saw from New Zealand?
I did, and it's a lot easier for a first-year coach to come in when you've got two quality guards. You've got one elite guard, as we've already discussed with PJC, but Matthew Mooney is a high-level international guard. He's played in the NBA. He plays well and complements Parker Jackson Cartwright really well. Mojave King has turned into a really good shooter of the basketball. He was outstanding. And I think the other guys just really filled the role. And up front, they've got a lead guy now in Sam Manenga who can go out and get you buckets. He's strong, he's athletic, and I think he's much more comfortable playing in New Zealand than he was in Cairns.
They've got a pretty challenging schedule coming up, New Zealand, with some NBA games as well. But I feel like if they can get through that and be sort of 50-50 win-loss record, then it feels like momentum will build for that team.
Well, Jack, that victory would have done so much for their basketball souls and their morale as a group. Now they go away and they want to be with each other because they saw what they can do collectively out here on the floor. So it's a really, probably I've got New Zealand as probably one of the big winners from this weekend.
Thumbs up and thumbs down to finish off round one and to finish off HoopsFest. Why don't we start with the negatives? Who gets the thumbs down?
Well, I thought it was a really tough run there for the Brisbane Bullets. I expected more out of them, and I thought it was a little bit flat. And Tyrell Harrison didn't show up and transform the form that we saw in the preseason where he was getting 20 points on the regular. I thought New Zealand did a good job of taking him out of the game. he's got to be better if Brisbane want to be better.
It's not always a good thing to win the NBL Blitz, is it?
Oh, well, there's a lot of words going around about that NBL Blitz curse and what it does for your regular season performance.
My thumbs down was the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They're going to have to be a lot better on Thursday night when they take on Melbourne United for sure. And I think part of that, Ruck, is going to be working out the ball handling and the responsibilities and the decision making. It just didn't seem clear on Friday night.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, you know, once Derek Walton Jr. understands and reacclimates to the NBL, I think they'll improve. But defensively, they got to show more heart, more desire, and a lot more effort.
Finish off with the positives then in that case. Thumbs up. Who gets it?
Well, I'm going to go macro here and go with the whole league. The NBL, everyone at HQ who's done a fantastic job in getting this to happen and happen at a high level and be so enjoyable for everyone. If you were here in this venue right now, you can just feel the positivity. We got the music going. It's just a great time, and the West Australian government also gets kudos for their contribution and willingness to host this great event.
And just another example of the big thinking here with the NBL as well. This is a massive concept. It had a lot of detractors at the start. It worked, trust us. It well and truly worked. Quick thumbs up for me, Bryce Cotton, I thought. To open up the season, to have RAC eating out of the palm of his hand as always on Friday night. The benchmark is back for NBL 25, and we are back for moments that mattered for NBL 25 as well. Nice work by you, Ruck.
Great to have you back, Jack.
Great to have you back as well for moments that mattered. We will see you next week.